In terms of earnings, Macy's reported some pretty good numbers. The stock's trading up here today, 1.5%. Let's break it down with Mary Ross Gilbert. She covers the retailers for Bloomberg Intelligence. She's based out there in Los Angeles. So, Mary, what do we hear from Macy's?
Well, what you're hearing from Macy's, Paul, is that they're executing. That's what you're hearing. So what we saw in the quarter, their comps were up 3%. We had very strong gains from Bloomingdale's being up 10%. And what the company is doing is they're bringing in a lot more relevant brands. First of all, they had already been executing at Bloomingdale's, but they're even taking it to a next level. So I think I mentioned before last quarter how they brought in our local store here in Westfield, Century City, they brought in a Chanel shoe boutique that was brought in over a year ago, and then just this year they brought in Christian Louboutin. Well, in New York City, in the 59th Street location, they have a Prada shoe boutique. So what they're doing is just continuing to elevate. This is also happening on the Macy's side too, where they're really climbing up in terms of the brands that they're bringing in. So some of the brands that they mentioned include Mango is one of them. And they're also doing a whole activation for World Cup with Nike, Adidas, and also Puma. So very exciting things that the company is doing. And if you look online at their website, it has completely changed. It's a lot more engaging.
All right.
It's a lot more exciting. So they're really, and there's more to come.
Right,
so
right.
Even with the nice gain that we saw this quarter, I think we're going to continue to see that momentum build.
And just a heads up to everyone that Macy's CEO Tony Spring will be on Bloomberg Television today live at 4:30 p.m. speaking with Romaine Bostick, so we can get more detail from the CEO. And I bring that up because I feel like Macy's, the company, Bloomingdale's in particular, was definitely a winner here following the bankruptcy filing of Saks Global Enterprises, the parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue, which has had to shut down a lot of stores. Is that the case?
It absolutely is the case, Scarlett. We've been noticing this, and it actually really started last year, and we saw this sharp acceleration in Bloomingdale's sales ahead of the bankruptcy, actually, because of the misexecution that was going on when they acquired Neiman Marcus. And Neiman Marcus, which had been showing positive sales trend, turned sharply negative following that acquisition. So you can see that the consolidated chain, they weren't paying vendors, they weren't treating their customers well, not accepting returns. They couldn't get, a lot of these customers who were frustrated couldn't get in touch with anyone. So meanwhile, while Bloomingdale's was really elevating their execution, they're taking share essentially. And so I think we're continuing to see that, because even if we look at the transaction data, we can see that the sales are still down double digits at the consolidated Neiman Marcus group, so the Saks Global.
When you talk to your retailers, are they trying to go just generally more upscale? I'm thinking about this K-shaped economy, and the parts of the K seem to be getting more and more pronounced. So if you're a Macy's, maybe on the margin, I go a little higher end. I bring some brands in that maybe I wouldn't have had in the past. Are you hearing that?
We're absolutely hearing that to a certain extent, though, Paul. You raise a valid question. It's also important that you have those entry brands. And you saw this with Kohl's. That's really where their focus is, because their consumer is really that lower income. That's our core consumer. Macy's will say our core consumer is really middle income to upper income. And so they have to make sure they have, sort of those entry levels. So it's called really the good, better, and best classifications. But yes, they're really pushing their merchants to focus on going up the best chain, because they're finding that having newness will drive conversion. So bringing in new, fresh, exciting brands and classifications are really driving that incremental sales gain. And their average price was up 8.3%. So you had, at the Bloomingdale's side, it was up about 9 to 10%, but Macy's, the nameplate, was up mid-single digits. And where they saw strength in beauty, once again, driven by a lot of newness across skincare and fragrance driving
Yeah.
those gains there. So that really does make a difference. But it is important to have that good, better, and best classifications, not just in private labels. So they're bringing in, some of these entry-level brands, or extending those, like a Sam Edelman, for example.
All right, good stuff. Mary, thank you so much. Mary Ross Gilbert is our senior equity analyst covering retail at Bloomberg Intelligence.